If you've been learning about ETFs, then you probably heard about overlap. And overlap is a pretty simple concept, which I'm going to be explaining to you by comparing three different ETFs. Here I have the MSCI Emerging Markets ETF, the MSCI World ETF, and the iShares Core S&P 500 ETF. And overlap means how much two or more ETFs have in common in terms of the stocks that they hold. So if I compare these three and I go down to see the holdings, I can see that the S&P 500 and MSCI World ETFs share a lot of holdings. They both have Nvidia, Apple, Microsoft, Amazon, Alphabet, and so on, which means that they have a high overlap. But if we compare them to the emerging markets ETF, then you can see that we have some new companies in here, like Taiwan Semiconductors, Samsung, Tencent, and so on, which means that this ETF has low overlap with the S&P 500 or the MSCI World ETF. And when you're building your portfolio, you want to avoid overlap because it's not very useful. It gives you a false sense of diversification, but you're not really diversified. You're basically investing in, yes, two different ETFs like the S&P 500 and the World MSCI ETF, but under the hood, they're pretty much the same. You would be much better off if you invested in the S&P 500, for example, alongside the emerging markets ETF, because then you have more diversification and you have more exposure to the market, which is a good thing in general. So be careful about overlap and make sure to follow for more investing tips.